Okay, so today we're gonna be going Soyou EXP. Your whole goal with Soyou EXP is to make sure the enemy core doesn't interrupt your team core. So you're just gonna cut lane first thing, and then immediately head to the enemy red if they're already there in red. You can also just steal the red itself, but making sure to kill the core is your primary objective. Anything else is basically extra. I cannot stress this enough, but you have to abuse the basic attack of Suyu. His basic attack is still pretty strong because of the range. If you are against a core similar to YSS, where they have to be constantly farming, so your whole goal is to just make sure they won't be able to farm. Now I went back to my lane here just so I can get my next lane because I noticed they are down there anyways. And the turtle is about to spawn, so you have to make sure to have enough EXP. Now as you can see, I'm remaining distance against this hero, especially because she can beat me in a 1v1 this early on with no items. That's why I'm making sure to make distance and get healing from creeps. I cannot 1v1 a you cannot 1v1 a Esmeralda as Suyu. So you just have to make sure you get distance and make sure they are distant from your core. Your whole goal is to just make sure the core is farming well, while the enemy core is farming terribly. That's why you can see me immediately looking for the other core. And when I manage to find the other core, I just decide to go ham. It doesn't matter if he gets the blue or red. What matters is you manage to kill him. That's why you're just gonna go all out, making sure they are dead. Now, there was a blunder there with the I should have cleared here, but I didn't, since I didn't notice that our mid was dead. So instead, I just didn't clear it, even though the next wave would have been very beneficial for you. Now, just roaming around in general is pretty good, making sure that your teammates are fed, but as you can see, I just decided that my most beneficial attack here is to just make sure the Esmeralda can't farm. That is because we have a Florin, which is really weak against Esmeralda. So you just have to make sure you have to make sure that you always cut lane. You do not want to fight the EXP lane. I'm just saying, if a enemy is a sustain, even though you have massive sustain, do not fight the the enemy lane. Well, at least for certain enemies like Esmeralda, where they're not really, even without items, they're not squishy. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that. But here, I realized I already have items where I deal damage, so I just make sure the enemy team just suffers. My goal here isn't to get kills, but to just delay the enemy core. Again, that is your entire goal, is to just delay and delay. Not letting the enemy core will grant you basically all the turrets, because the enemy won't be able to go to the other lanes, and they're forced to help their core, who is currently struggling, so they can't really help the other lanes. That's why the other lanes will be punished, not just your lane. And since you're cutting your lane, the flow of the minions will keep on going, letting you push. I decided to push here because there's no reason not to. Plus the next lane would have spawned, so I could get insane gold here. As you can see, I'm just camping the living shit out of the EXP. I mean the red. That's because that's your entire goal, just annoy the living shit. Even though it's not blue, it's still really big. It's still really big, really big. So that's why you're gonna make sure. As you can see, I'm actually struggling. So that's why I decided to quit. If you don't know, Suyu is weak against magic. So if you're against a bunch of magic heroes, it's best not to just use Suyu. But in this case, I already used Suyu. That's why Even though most of them are magic types, I just decided to go Suyu anyways.
Ult is ready.
YSS also is very weak against Suyu. That's why you should probably use him a lot more. Early game, at least early game. Because if you don't know, this is a massive blunder. I should have tossed my sword into the creeps and then used the slash. I have to remind you that the whole entire reason why Suyu is insane for early game and late game is because of his healing possibilities. He's basically if Ruby didn't have as much stuns, pretty much. Unfortunately, after a while, I did start making a lot of blunders, and it kind of cost me my snowball. So just remember not to take risks. I'm not really that good at Suyu yet, that's why I just kept on making wrong decisions. Just remember not to take risks that are so unnecessary. Because you could just end up not getting the MVP like I did, even though I should have gotten the MVP with how much I was snowballing. So just make sure to not fuck up. Just make sure you don't do any risky things. If you can't confirm a kill, don't confirm a kill. If you want to, you could just spam your arrows, because your arrow still does a lot of damage. Here's blunder number 1, where I got too aggressive, which led to me being punished. That was kind of a bug as well, where I did the hold version instead of the tap version. I hope they get rid of that because it low-key annoys me. Basically, if you get stunned while holding down an attack, it continues to hold it down and doesn't cancel it. If I managed to just tap, it would have been better. Here's blunder number 2, where instead of holding the dash, I tapped it, which led to my demise. Not to mention, I was very aggressive, even though there was no reason to be aggressive, especially since Lord was alive. Alright, here's another blunder, but I was saved, so
That was amazing!
anyways, I was a bit too aggressive there. Thank God our mage managed to save me there. And the Florin also like healed me to full, so I could, keep on fighting. That was a bad blunder because I didn't wait for the stun. That's another blunder where I didn't protect the Florin. That was on me because I could have just held the dash, and I could have just stunned the woman. Yeah.
Monster kill!
Here's another blunder. This didn't really happen that long after the other blunders. So you should have just left that area instead of fighting it, because even though the basic attacks of Suyu are strong, you still shouldn't be forcing things, as MMs are stronger in the basic attack division. I forgot to mention the Amorphs is actually my duo. That's why I'm making sure to let him farm as much as possible while, making sure I'm fed as well. Here I decided to run because I thought we wouldn't be able to take it, but my duo is about to prove me hella wrong. Very wrong actually. And because of this, we are able to end it. As you can see, I decided to just clear it since I noticed my Thanos was doing his strongest. I decided to push back the mage because the mage deals a lot of damage and would be a pain in the ass when defending. So yeah. Your other objective is to get into the back line and make sure the squishies are dead and they can dealt off. Anyways, victory!
Victor!